Hi, Marco Di Stefano here, and welcome to this new video of the Virtual Orchestration series. What I want to show you today is how I managed to create an orchestral template which allows me to create tracks using several instruments by having only 32 GB of RAMs. I do this because I'm using the enable-disable function that is offered with the new Vienna Ensemble Pro, the version 6. And in this case, actually what happens is that only the instruments which I'm really using are loaded into memory. It means that I can potentially build an orchestral template which is made of all the instruments, all the VST instruments that I have. Might be 200, 300, 400, it doesn't matter. Because when I'm recording my song, I will enable only the ones I really want. And this is actually what I have in my orchestral template. So during this video, I'm going to show you the technique which I'm using to do the enabling and disabling of these MIDI channels in Vienna Ensemble Pro through Lemur. So I'm not covering here the connection that you need to do in order to make Lemur work with Cubase. So you can find this in many other videos. So let's start. So the first things is Vienna Ensemble Pro. Whenever I start to work on a composition, I open my so this one. So this is what you see when the Vienna Ensemble Pro load up. So you can see that I have one instance for each of the groove sections. So I have one instance for the woodwinds, one for the brass, one for the strings. Here I'm putting like mixed, like from the Bernard Herrmann toolkit, where there is a mix of instruments and plus the percussions. This one is for the Hans Zimmer strings high, Hans Zimmer strings low. And this is where I'm putting actually all the evolutions. So far I have only the Spitfire chamber evolution. The way this is done is that there is one MIDI channel here. So as this one which I just created. So there is one every channel here, and each of these channel is one instrument. Is one specific instrument that I then am able to disable, enable. So if you are putting too many instruments into the same kontakt instance, then you must be aware that the moment in which you are going to disable this channel, you are going to disable all of them. That's why my decision, it was to go for one instrument per channel. So that then when I disable one channel, I'm disabling just one single instrument. And when I need just one instrument, I know that I'm just loading that one into memory. So look, for example, here for the Piccolo Flute. As you can see, what I've done is that I loaded all the instruments for Piccolo Flute, in this case the full techniques and the legato techniques. They are all with the same MIDI channel. So I think to give you a fair example here, let's go to the chamber strings, where there are actually a lot of articulations. For example, this one, chamber strings, violins 1. And you can see I also have an alternate version, which is the one which came actually with the professional version. So chamber strings, violins 1, CTAO, that's the professional version. Close 3 ambient outrigger microphones. And then if you look at it, inside you have all, so first of all, the violins 1 core technique on the MIDI channel 6. The violins 1 decorative technique, the violins 1 legato technique, and the violins 1 legato performance, all assigned to the same MIDI channel on the same plugin here, the MIDI 1, 6. So how this works in Cubase? So in Cubase, I will open now my orchestral template project here. It will load. So first of all, what you see is that suddenly here the image changed, because now you have a Cubase which is connected, and so now we can see also all the articulations. Something important is that for each of them, I set this to locked to UACC, which that's how actually I'm using UACC for these libraries to change and switch the articulations. And now if we look at in Cubase, this is what the template looks like. So you have the first on top, we have the brass. Okay, maybe let's ensure, yes, everything is visible. So we have the woodwinds, the brass, percussions, strings, and then inside strings, I have the high strings, low strings. I have Hans Zimmer strings, which then here actually, because there is no possibility to have different articulations, I'm having each of the single patch here. And then I'm starting to also to add the evolutions. As I said, so far I only have the chamber evolutions and then the section mix. So if now we go, for example, in the strings high, Spitfire chamber strings, violins 1, it's the one that we have seen in Vienna Ensemble Pro. You can see that first things first, it is connected to Vienna Pro Strings MIDI in 1, which is actually set up here, and is connected to the channel 6, which is the one which is set here for all these instruments. And this is done for each of them. So you can see one. So each of these single instrument in Cubase, each track in Cubase needs to be linked with one MIDI channel into Vienna Ensemble Pro, so that then when you select one of them, you are able to enable it. How the enable disable work? So it's very simple. I will load now my orchestral template in Lemur. So it all works with just one single button, which is this one. This is a button which is triggering the control change 125 on off. In my case, the on will enable, the off will disable. And so this is just actually changing a MIDI change to Cubase on the track, which is actually here selected. So there is nothing to do for that. And what I have inside Vienna Ensemble Pro is that for each of the different instances, for each of the instrument, I have an automation set up. Here it is. Now, if we look at the one for the violins 1 chamber, this one, so you create an automation where you set the parameters. So you remember it was on the plugin MIDI 1. You say that it's on the MIDI channel number 6, and you say that is the control change 125. So you set up that. It's this one again, so you can see plugin MIDI 1 channel 6 controller 125, and then here you say, okay, whatever I'm receiving a control change 125 on the channel 6 of the MIDI 1 plugin of Vienna Ensemble Pro, then what you do is that you go in this, you enable this MIDI plugin. So very straightforward. The only problem with that is that you will need to have one line of automation for each of the MIDI plugins that you have here and for each of the Cubase track that you have. But that's actually something, okay, it's a dummy work that you have to do, but it really pays off. For example, look here for the Hans Zimmer, so that's really a lot. So with this method, you don't need anything, any tricky things to do, and it's very simple. With just one button, you can enable, disable all the different tracks. So I hope that you find this video interesting and that it might help to build your orchestral template. So thanks for watching.